Hello, thought I would do a video on a motor I'm putting together, which is a World Products Motown 2 LS. You can kind of see that up there in the corner. Uses a 55mm cam core, which is a custom, but you can get them from Earson, which is actually being made by Callie's, believe it or not. Found that out earlier. So you can also get a core from Callie's. And then you can have whoever you want grind it, but it does take a custom camshaft. And what this is it allows you to build a basically traditional small block Chevrolet on the bottom. Has traditional small block Chevy mounts. Also has the LS mounts if you were so inclined to mount it into an LS1 equipped car. But this is a thick wall Siamese cylinder block. And as you notice, these cylinder head pads are completely different from traditional small block. This is all LS. It allows me to build a small block on the bottom, but an LS 1 through 7 on top. And it has a bush lifter bores, which these are 842s, but you can get them in a 904. And basically all you have to do is change out the bores if you change your mind and want to go to something different. The block's 4125, but it can be punched out to 4250 safely with a 1/4 inch wall left. And let me see here. It takes a standard small block Chevy crank, takes standard small block Chevy rods. I was originally building a 427 cubic inch, which was a 4-inch stroke with a 6/125 rod. And then it takes LS7, LS3, depending on which valve angle you're going with, 427 pistons. It has to have a 927 pin for the standard small block rods, but basically you pin LS pistons to small block Chevy rods. Now this particular motor that I'm putting together uses this Callie's Stealth crank, which is brand new and older than dirt. It actually was manufactured in 1997 for a guy who ordered a 4/250 inch stroke, so 4 1/4 inch stroke, which last time I used a crank that big, it was in a 496 big block Chevy. And it allows me to make 454 cubic inches out of this motor with a 4/250 stroke and a 4/125 bore. And I'm using a 6-inch rod. I just got stupid lucky when I found this thing on Race Junk. It has 350 mains, 350 standard crank pins. So you're talking a 2/100 rod and a 345. I can't remember the mains, but a standard 350 mains. And the way I did it was I offset the 4/250 stroke by using 125 thousandths shorter rods. So I used 6-inch Dyers rods. They're 6-inch H-beam Dyers. And I picked these up secondhand in fantastic shape. Guy had them in a buggy, changed his mind. And then I picked up a set of JE 427 LS7 pistons with a 1.15 compression height, flat top, and basically the block has a 9/240 deck height, so it's 240 thousandths taller than traditional small block Chevrolet. It actually has the same deck height as an LS. They also moved the cam up 138 thousandths. That allows me just enough room to shoehorn that big bastard into a small block. So I can actually punch this motor out total when I'm done to just shy of 496 cubic inches. Be a square motor if I decided to go that route, but I decided not to and just keep it a 4/125 bore for right now. But really damn cool idea. Didn't quite catch on when World Products first released it. People were of the opinion, if you're going to build an LS, build an LS. If you're going to build a small block, build a small block. But I'm not much of a welder or fabricator, and for me the block costs the same money. I already had most of my small block parts, so the bottom end, no big deal. The LS parts were same price as the small block parts, so for me to put this together really wasn't as bad as what it should have been. I got dumb lucky on the crank. That was 900 bucks, because basically the guy, when he ordered it in 1997 for a standard production GM block, was going to build a 427 with that, and I guess didn't do the math, or somebody didn't warn him or whatever, but either way, he'd have been about halfway through the cam. So there's no possible way to use that crank in a 350 or 400 block. So I'm not sure how that happened, but it ended up sitting for the last 20 years. Then I bought it, so it's a brand new Cali Stealth, and it will make its home in this guy here. Dowker's Machinery in Charlotte, Michigan helped me out tremendously by helping me get all this stuff figured out and put together, and they got everything clearanced. Didn't really take a whole hell of a lot. A little bit into the pan rail, but that's one of the nice things about this block is it has a solid pan rail. So if you look, you can see where everything is notched on both sides to clear it. I mean, but I've still got room between the pan bolts. And this is not a spread pan either. This is a standard small block Chevy pan rail. So, believe it or not, I can actually fit that oil pan on here. It hits in a couple places, so it's going to need a little bit of dinging, but it does fit. Really good foundation. So I thought I would put it out there as just something. Haven't seen a lot of guys do anything other than a couple professional machine shops do this, but no YOLO average dipshit like me. So I thought I would put it out there and just maybe get it out to a few people and say, hey, you know, take a look at this. You know, I don't know as I would do what I'm doing personally because it's kind of a pain in the ass, but if you were to do a 427 cubic inch with a 4-inch stroke, you essentially have an LS motor. Even though on the outside it's small block, even though it drops in like a small block, it looks like a small block, everything about the bottom end is small block. You could put a production pan on this, build 427 cubic inches, and use LS cylinder heads. I think that one there is actually a empty Warhawk LS1 head that I had. Yep, it is. This was the original idea, and I ended up going to a set of factory Corvette LS7 heads, and now I'm thinking I might go with a set. A little birdie told me that AFR is coming out with an LS3 port cylinder head, and that's awful tempting to switch to LS3. My goal at this point is to have the motor done in a year. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a while, but it's already been a year, and its future home is the car I wanted to build as a kid and couldn't. But I have been looking for a Monza forever, and if I can lure any of my friends into watching this video, they've known me long enough that they know how long I've wanted one of these cars. The motor that's in there currently is a blown 350, and it's no slouch. It's probably in the 500-600 horsepower range. I mean, with everything that's in it, it should be about 600 horse. I haven't had it dynoed yet. This one, however, will be a hell of a lot more. The proof will be in the pudding. When I get the dyno sheet, then I'll post what it actually is. And if you're going to build, 454 cubic inch motor with custom everything, you hope that it better not suck. So hopefully we'll see what happens. But yeah, its future home is going to be in the Monza here, and it's going to be a nitrous motor when it's all said and done. So wish me luck, and I'll do a quick video dropping a crank in. They're not going to be long videos like me rambling here, which is essentially just staring at a block and running my mouth. Because I don't know about anybody else, but watching somebody torque a set of bolts is kind of boring. So I'll get the short block together, get a video up on that, and then when I get a little bit farther, I'll show you some more of the custom parts. But it does require, you have to contact World for a valley plate that is specific to this engine and a timing chain, because they're the only ones that have it. The cam cores you can get from Earson and you can get from Cali's. So the same guys that made this crank are actually doing my cam core, and then Comp Cams is grinding it for me, which right now is on a 6-month or 7-month, something like that, backlog. So I couldn't finish the motor tomorrow if I wanted to, which at this point, yeah, I do. I've been waiting long enough and been dying to run it, but when you're playing around with this, and it's 15 degrees outside because it's still winter up here in the Great White North, it's pretty easy to slake that thirst for a little bit more. So plus the fact I actually haven't had this out, haven't got chassis dialed in, haven't nothing. So probably don't need to be dumping that thing in it right away off the bat. So anyway, hope this was at least somewhat informative or entertaining or either of the above. But I'm going to do a couple more videos. I am going to post you know, what kind of issues I run into, what kind of problems I've had. I've already done a mock assembly of the block. I know the crank fits, spins, I know the rods fit. This is just a Moroso pan. It's actually supposed to be for a 3/8 stroke, but it actually only hit a couple spots, so a standard stroker pan should fit the bill. But it's got just enough room in the right places to make this possible, which typically, I mean, LS guys have been running 4 1/4, 4-inch stroke cranks and the LSX blocks, and then they've got a, you know, they've got a market on it. But so I want to see if I can put something together that's a little bit different and still make the kind of power that I'm looking for. And who knows, maybe make the car competitive, we'll see. So thanks for your time, appreciate it. Have a good one.